Yeah, and I think services, indirect procurement and services, due to the level of complexity of what you're buying, not necessarily the supply chain complexity, which is, I feel like, almost like the reverse when you're looking at goods and materials. Surely that's the area to apply that most effectively. I mean, it's firstly, the growth in the spend on services is so huge. If you look at, I don't know, insurance and financial services, it's in like the high 90% range in terms of what they spend is on services. And on average, I think globally, it's something like 55% or something like that, or around 50% on services across all industries. But it's where a lot of the complexity lies, I feel.
I think you're right. I think equally as industry adapts to the new world and effectively, industry 4.0, I think we'll find more complexity across a range of areas. Labour is a particular one. With the recent changes in IR35, I think that puts...
Which changes?
Well,
they're back again.
I think that then creates another whole dimension.
Yeah.
We in my area we talk about total workforce management, and you don't look at employees versus contractors versus consultants in order to fill the role. You look at what is the function you actually want to create, and how best can you utilize that function or that activity. As we face into new world, and dare I say millennials, they're not necessarily interested in joining a business and working for 10 years or for longer. They're interested in about the experience and how this adds to their own particular CV or development. So from that perspective, we have to think differently. We have to think about contingent labour as being across all those areas of activity in terms of employees, consultants, contractors, and how we fulfil that role. So that in itself creates, where it wasn't before, a degree of complexity. And that's where I think where procurement can start to add as being a solutions architect in terms of how best we can fulfill those requirements of the business.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the kind of growth of the gig economy, freelancing, independent working, that kind of thing, alongside other factors that have maybe come out of the pandemic, where organizations have looked more towards, well, I just need a thing done. It doesn't matter where somebody is or when they're doing it. I just need a thing to be done. Are you seeing more of a trend towards addressing the task or the problem that needs solving rather than saying this is a role? Or is it split? How much of a weighting do you see towards just an output based process where it starts with what do we need to get done?
I do think task-orientated delivery is going to be much more focused across the businesses in the very near future. And I think with the pandemic, obviously, hopefully we're through that now, and the change that's happened to the working environment, people are working from home. The fact that we said at the very start of this podcast, it's nice that we're physically in the same room together, breaks that relationship between person, location, function. So if you then break that relationship, do I need to be in the same country? Do I need to be doing it in real time? Is it the fact I'm really driven by the task rather than the relationship with the individual? And I think that is not only the future, that is something we should be embracing, because that means that we as a business can be much more dynamic in terms of delivery, but also innovation and drive. I'm not constricted to what's available to me in my 60-mile radius of an office location. I can get the best people for the best price, for the best delivery in order to carry out that particular function.